Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about my bankruptcy. I am a big believer, like so many years, I found my identity as an art teacher. I found my identity as an artist. And we got to remember, identity is in God, not success. Okay. For those of you that are believers, like it doesn't matter like how successful you become. If you forget to love on your kids, love on your spouse, all of those things during this crazy roller coaster of a ride as we do in business, it's not going to be worth anything. I learned this lesson years ago because I was just head down as fast as I could go, a zillion miles an hour. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I got to breathe. I have to breathe. And so years ago, we lost everything and we went bankrupt. And I remember just feeling so ashamed and just like, how am I ever going to face? I was so scared to talk about it. And finally, once I started talking about it, I realized it kind of set me free. But here's what happened. So I was using art to heal. And these little mini surfboards, I, started painting them. I would bring them to my elementary school that I was working at. And I had 850 kids a week. It was a cattle call. It was insane. And I would work on them during lunch breaks or whatever. Well, some of the kids started saying, Miss Easley, will you paint me a surfboard? Put my name on it. And I was like, no, these are just something fun I'm doing. And they'd be like, the next kids would come in. Oh my gosh, Miss Easley, put my name on that. Oh my gosh, Miss Easley, will you put my name on that? And just kept happening over and over again. And then finally, after like the 150th kid said that, it was like finally a light bulb went off and I was like, oh my gosh, like I may be able to sell these and make money. Well, I talked to my mother-in-law and we had no money. Like I said, we lost our house, we lost everything. And I said, I think that we may be able to make some money. And she's like, oh my gosh, let's try it. She goes, we'll go 50-50 because they could buy the supplies and then we would split the profits. I was like, okay, that's great. So anybody been to Panama City Beach? Well, there's this place called Pier Park. And I remember taking my surfboard that still had polyurethane on it. And I took it up to this little meeting and I was like, hey, can I sell my surfboards at your fine outdoor mall establishment? And he looked at me surprisingly and he's like, yeah, I think you could make some money. So we worked out a deal where I rented a 10 by 10 spot. You can see it there on the bottom right. And I literally rented that out. I think it was like $1,200 a month for 3 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I was like, man, this is my second chance. Like, we're living in an apartment. We lost our house, but it's okay. Like we have a second chance. And I'm sitting there and nothing, nobody is buying. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I'm not even 30. I've gone bankrupt. Like, life is hard. Like, life sucks. Like, I remember just feeling like so defeated. And my mother-in-law looked at me. She sensed my frustration. So what do you do when you've lost everything and you're not even 30 yet? You go to Buffalo Wild Wings and go get a drink at the bar. That's what we did. So she said, come on, Heidi, let's go have a break. And so Bobby was watching the booth and we walked across the street. So we were set up right in front of a Starbucks at Pier Park. And then you walk across the street and there's Buffalo Wild Wings. And so I'm there, I'm, having a drink at the bar. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, this sucks, and I'm like, I don't have a plan B. Like, this was plan B. And then all of a sudden, another drink in and I'm like, this is hard. Like, life is hard. I had a toddler at the time. You can see how old Pixie is there. She's a little girl. And just, this weight on my shoulders of losing our house, losing our cars, like everything. And now, making $22,000 a year as a teacher, just not feeling like this is how life's supposed to go. Then my husband calls and everything changes. He calls and he says, Heidi, oh my gosh, Heidi, like, you got to get over here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, seriously, get over here now. And I look at my mother-in-law and I'm like, I got to go. And so I walk, tipsily across the street, if I'm honest. And I look and he's got these like paper tickets and he's holding them out like this. And he's like, Heidi, get to painting. And I just in that moment, like I felt like I was flat on my face, done for. And in that moment, I felt like God scooped me up And not only did he say it's going to be okay, but you're going to be able to do what you love forever. And so I painted that whole night, tipsily painted. We went on to sell over 1,000 surfboards in just 2 months, which meant we made over $20,000 cash for my family at a time when we needed it so badly. If it was raining, we were painting in our car. Sometimes I'd get orders up to 10:30 or 11 at night, and I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning painting, and then I'd get up again and do it all over again for 12 to 18 more hours, because I knew every $20 was a chance at my family's future in a new way. So when I think about bankruptcy, I want anybody who's ever had trouble like that to know, like, I smile when I talk about my bankruptcy, because I know it was used for good. I know something bad is always can be used for good and for God's glory. And I know in this time in my life, and then I didn't really know why, but now I know why. My bankruptcy taught me so much about perseverance, about, making your own way. I mean, this was the start of me becoming an entrepreneur. So it was really, really cool. And I'm so, so grateful for it.